Millions of people have lost weight with personalized plans from Noom. Like Evan, who can't stand salads and still lost 50 pounds.
Salads generally for most people are the easy button, right? For me, that wasn't an option. I never really was a salad guy. That's just not who I am. But Noom worked for me.
Get your personalized plan today at Noom.com. Real Noom user compensated to provide their story. In 4 weeks, the typical Noom user can expect to lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. Individual results may vary.
When you're ready to pop the question, the last thing you want to do is second-guess the ring. At BlueNile.com, you can design a one-of-a-kind ring with the ease and convenience of shopping online. Choose your diamond and setting. When you find the one, you'll get it delivered right to your door. Go to BlueNile.com and use promo code LISTEN to get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more. That's code LISTEN at BlueNile.com for $50 off your purchase. BlueNile.com, code LISTEN.
Nice sharp one tonight.
A nice sharp one tonight.
Get it done.
That's how you start a podcast. All the mustard, all the enthusiasm of Phil Largan right there. We're starting very late. It's the EggChasers Rugby Podcast, the podcast about rugby that doesn't take itself or the game too seriously. One thing that we do take seriously is making sure there is a podcast for you every single Monday morning, something we have done. Not just 52 weeks a year, 52 weeks for the last 10 years. Getting on for... Is this our 11th season that we've covered? Or is it the 10th?
Yeah,
Yes.
this is 11th, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're about to have finished our 11th season, nearly finished the 11th year. Oh my goodness me. Closing in on 1,000 episodes. And it's that sort of commitment that means we are here late on a Sunday night in JB's damp basement.
It is damp, isn't it? For some reason.
Unknown source of flooding, but we're gonna sort that out after the podcast.
Nothing can be done now.
Because JB's been away. Phil's picked him up from the airport. How are you both doing? You all right?
I'm very good. Very enthused for this podcast tonight because good round of games.
Nice and sharp, yeah.
Nice and sharp. More for you, JB. Because
I'm fine. I'm good to go.
You've had an interesting weekend, haven't you?
So what have you been? Where? Ibiza, right?
I've been to Ibiza. Yeah,
I've never been to Ibiza.
It is so much fun, Tim. It is so. I mean, shock horror. Ibiza's fun. Ibiza is fun. I can tell you that for free. So, one of the guys in my CrossFit gym is getting married, stag do, and he invited his mates from back home. He's from Northern Ireland. So, one of his mates is a enormous Rangers fan. So we got to watch the Old Firm derby. Really signed up to all the sectarian singing. Really got into it.
That's one thing rugby needs, isn't it?
It really does.
A little bit more religious-based hatred.
Real hatred. That'd be great. No, it was awesome. It was genuinely awesome. So we went to a Scottish pub to watch it. It's absolutely rammed. It was great. It was really, really good. The Rangers fun for the day. Maybe forever.
Nice. Nice. Well, here we are. As Phil said, brilliant round of games, and that goes wherever you look. URC, Premiership, Top 14. There's been some insane rugby this weekend and some very, very significant results. There's also been significant stuff going on off the pitch, which we can touch on as well. I don't know what order you want to kind of...
Throw me something off the pitch, because I was thinking about this. Has much happened this week off the pitch?
Yes.
Go on then.
So I'll go to that. I'll firstly just say you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, and one way you can just thank us for the content is by hitting subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And you get all the little extra ones. You haven't done a Economics for a while with
Tuesday.
Mark Evans.
Mark was travelling this Tuesday.
Delighted to hear it.
Yeah.
Good.
Back on Tuesday.
I've missed that, good.
Same.
We'll have one of those. And if you want more content, then you can go to patreon.com/EggChasers. Thank you to all the people that help keep the lights on and potentially fund the pump, which is going to get the water out of the rugby dungeon.
Absolutely right. Well, we've got lots of Egg Chaser type events coming up. So me and Phil are down in London to watch the Highland Cup final. Will you be for the Highland Cup final in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
No, I am taking every opportunity I can to spend weekends at home.
Okay.
Because you'll soon be in South Africa.
I've got a trip to Bayonne, and then I've got several weeks in South Africa.
Excellent.
Bayonne.
And of course, you won't be there for the Egg Chaser Sevens.
No, I'll be in Loftus Versfeld watching the first test between Ireland and South Africa. We'll
be North Dorset Sevens. So if you want to sign up to the North Dorset Sevens team, either as a social member or a playing member, drop us an email, contact eggchasers@gmail.com, and I will get you forwarded to Major Lee.
When did he get his promotion? That's awesome. I've heard you say Major League a couple of times now.
About 12 months ago.
Yeah.
More than 12 months ago.
Good.
I'd say.
Might have to mark his promotion. We haven't we haven't got together as EggChasers since he got promoted.
I wonder how they do mark their promotions. I'll have to ask.
Don't know.
Can't wait to find out at North Dorset 7.
Maybe they mark it in the way that 4-para video was doing the rounds.
Maybe.
A year or two ago. Maybe it's like that. Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, never mind. Right, yeah, something off the pitch then. So World Rugby have confirmed their law changes which are coming in on the 1st of July. The first of which is closing the loophole that was the DuPont law. Bizarrely, something that teams have been able to do for decades and haven't done.
No one's done at all.
But it was Antoine Dupont and a few others that organised it and, spotted that you could do it, did it, and now the loophole's been closed. Fine. That makes sense. I mean, you're going to have to be played onside by someone, either the kicker or someone that was behind the kicker before you can defend.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm fine with that one.
So you won't get any loitering forwards, which ironically, I'll touch on the CROC roll has now been officially banned.
That's good. I
thought it already had.
Yeah, I did as
well. And we made this point a while ago, and I've not read everything that's come out about these law changes, but when this was discussed a few months ago, I basically highlighted that what needs to change, because it is already illegal to go off your feet at a ruck.
And there is the catch-all, as JP Doyle reminds us, there is the catch-all, just dangerous play.
And reckless play.
Dangerous and reckless play is already under the laws.
I've not actually seen how they're planning to do this, if anything.
Well, this is it. This could be. So on the face of it, you go, CROC roll banned, fine, that makes sense. Still want to see an injury like the one that happened to Jack Willis. But what World Rugby have come and basically said is they want to emphasise that the competition at the ruck needs to be rucking. The clear out has to be straight forwards and backwards.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, it is. But the unintended consequence of this, because there's a lot of legal things which aren't going off your feet, but you take a slight angle at the ruck.
Yeah, you should always take a slight angle at the ruck.
Yeah, well, exactly. But if a pedantic referee, or if the referees get told, no, you must be really strict on this, through the gate and directly straight north-south.
Sort of
I don't think that is what will happen.
Go through the gate at an angle. So if you think about it, if you're coming at an angle, square on. If you're going onto the side of the body, I think, which is where you've got a problem.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense at all.
It does. You kind of know what it looks like. The through the gate at a slight angle versus just straight at the side.
Because they don't want you to have head contact as well. So
which is it, boys?
So
because the one that I don't want to happen is I don't want to kind of destroy the contest of the ruck.
Yeah,
the ruck is an integral part of the game, but it is also a highly dangerous if you do certain things, and it's keeping the contest without making it too soft.
Yeah, and in a way, as you've already touched on, it's almost like I think the law was already covered. But anyway, we'll see how the interpretation goes. I think it may be a perception thing rather than anything, because the CROC roll doesn't happen anymore. But the one thing you don't like is, which is already governed by the don't go off your feet, is when players are almost under the player that they're trying to take off their feet. They pull them to the ground with them. And that should be that is outlawed. So anyway.
And the other just the other one on that.
Yeah,
the one that I would ban, and I think it probably is illegal, but it's very rarely refereed, is the jackler hooking under the player, the tackled player who's on the floor, to basically double the weight that any clearers have to shift. Now that's not to me, that is not supporting your own body weight, and that makes it really dangerous, because it means the person clearing out has to go in twice as hard as they otherwise would do. So I think if you're strict around that, the latching onto the tackled player on the ground, other things will sort themselves out.
Yeah. And just jumping back to the DuPont law, ironically, the fact that France did the DuPont law offside, left their forwards loitering upfield, was exactly the reason why Damien Willemse in that World Cup quarter-final called a scrum from a mark.
Yeah, one of the few things...
That's the exact reason they did it.
So these bunch of boys that I was with this weekend, one of the few things that they remembered from the World Cup is Damien Willemse calling for the scrum. An iconic moment in rugby history.
It really is.
And they're going to change the laws.
I think that is just a real shame. That one.
Yeah. So it's not So that seems like on the face of it the thing that it stopped, but it does go deeper than this because the law is any short arm penalty, so free kick, any free kick, the option to call a scrum has been taken away, which is twofold. It's one, you can't. I mean, how many times does it get called as an attacking weapon anyway? Percentage-wise, what do you reckon?
Well,
10%?
Fairly frequent, I'd say.
Only if you've got a dominant scrum and therefore you're not really using it to attack, you're using it to gain a penalty.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that I would change. So I wouldn't change it from free kick. I would lower the incentive of the penalty. I've said this before, not for a long time actually, but I would downgrade a penalty kick at sticks to be 2 points equal to a conversion, because then you're promoting the scrum as an attacking platform rather than a scrum as a penalty.
Look at that. Phil's mantra, living by his mantra there, show me the incentive, I'll show you the outcome.
But you're also incentivising bad player on the breakdown. So if you're only going to give away 2 points rather than have an open flowing game, that's when you throw your bodies over the ruck and just make sure that no one can get the ball out. And
these are the sort of conversations
where I would, for stuff like
yellow card,
like we saw Vermaelen in the Exeter Harlequins game, doing exactly that. Yellow card. You'll be less incentivised to do that if you're getting yellow cards left, right and centre. But
I love the fact that you've already, just in a quick moment, had the sort of conversation and the thought process which it doesn't seem to me that World Rugby are readily having. No,
they sort of design. It sounds to me like they design some of the laws first and then retrospectively get people to agree with it. And it's all very knee-jerk. I mean, they'll say there's a process, but it must be knee-jerk because they're changing one law which has been in existence for, well, since we've been playing the game. And so it is 100 years, isn't it?
Yeah, and do you get any sense? Well, so firstly, it's those two things. How often does a scrum get called from a free kick? Rarely, and it's only done when a team has a very dominant scrum.
Because they don't want the scrum, they want the penalty.
Right, and rugby is a game of trade-offs, isn't it? So if you have a very dominant scrum, you may be weak elsewhere. Why should you not be able to use what your strength is?
And also, it's not if you have necessarily a dominant scrum. It's more if you have dominant backs. You want to give them more
tie
space.
16 men in.
Yeah. It's not quite so simple. So the free kick and the free kick and the scrum are synonymous with each other because they're both sort of lower level or sort of lower threshold ways to restart a game. The penalty is the ultimate one. And then, free kick and scrum are broadly speaking the same. That's why they should be interchangeable. And they should still be interchangeable.
I think, was it you, JB, that said a while ago, I can't remember, or maybe it was you, Phil, or somewhere else, maybe one of our brilliant listeners who emailed, but someone suggested that the free kick, every scrum should be an option for the team that win the scrum. Do you want you can take a free kick if you want, or you can take a scrum. Because then if you have a good scrum, you can use it as much as you want. If you don't, you don't have to.
Why were we talking about that?
Probably because this law was getting rumoured.
We think we should do that because it might mean that you show up to a game with a very mobile pack, which would make you very susceptible to a very good scrum. So you have to pick your poison. It doesn't solve your problems.
It doesn't solve your problem, exactly.
It compounds your problems because, you're not going to have the right personnel.
So instead of a consequence like that, where you don't remove a potential weapon, but you incentivise trade-offs,
more choice,
exactly, because that might solve the problem that World Rugby, whatever, I don't know what problem they're trying to solve.
I don't know really.
No, I don't.
You want the game to look like this, but why?
Yeah, I don't know what problem they're trying to solve, but that would solve it. What they've actually done here is incentivise cheating.
Yeah. Now, has Rob Baxter had
made it harder to referee?
Has Rob Baxter had anything to say about this?
I haven't seen anything recently.
Yeah, not that I've read.
For some reason I thought he had.
No, he when this was rumoured, he came out straight away punching and said it's madness. They need to leave the game alone and stop changing the laws.
Totally agree. Just leave it alone.
The one thing that I think they're trying to change on this, which is, I think it's the wrong way of going about it, but it's the amount of dead time that there is in the entirety of the game because of scrums. So they're trying to have fewer scrums, therefore there is less time. So one thing I saw the other day was if there is 36 minutes of ball in play time in in a game, which is there or thereabouts, or about right.
And which is the most that there's ever been at any World Cup, by the way, the World Cup we just had.
Yeah. Which things are moving in the right direction already, but there are 18 minutes waiting for scrums to set up. Now, there are other ways. No one wants fewer scrums. There are plenty of people who do want shorter periods of setup before scrums.
And that would be addressing the problem.
Yeah, address the problem kind of head on, directly, rather than this indirect.
But this is where it's perceptions and it's where it's optics and stuff, because there'll be a health and safety brigade that would say, oh no, they need longer to set up for safety. No.
They do need longer to set up for safety.
No, they don't. That's bullshit.
You practice that.
It's bullshit.
No,
there's a happy medium. They can go. They've taken it to the nth degree. They can come back a few degrees and it would still be safe. Yes. It's way too long. They're taking all the mud off your boots.
Mud's got to come off your boots.
The second
on
row,
4G pitches.
Yeah. The second row's...
We've all done it.
The second row's unbinding completely, standing up, separating, then going back. Yeah, but...
Spent hours doing this.
Deal with it. Just deal with it. Just get on with it.
Well, look, I would say the process has come about because they've messed around with the game so much that scrimmaging has become so specialist and so technical. I mean... If you think about the Chasing the Sun 2 documentary...
Oh, that episode 4 is amazing.
And they're talking about their scrimmaging and what they're trying to do. I don't want to take away what they are practicing for when they come to the game. And if that means that they have to set up and it takes 5 seconds longer...
Practice setting up a bit quicker.
And for some lads, that's exactly what they will do. You want to run to scrums, you want to force the tempo, force the pressure, absolutely. But in the same way, I want to give all teams a sort of... the options of how they want to go about their game.
Well, this is with the referee, for example. So if you said, right, we're going to work on our fitness, we're going to get a slightly more mobile pack, we're going to sprint to the scrum, get set up early, and then say, sir, we're ready, free kick, off you go.
Yeah, but you don't want the free kick, you want the scrum.
Well, unless you repeat. So this is it.
Penalty.
It's incentivised cheating because. Yeah. Think back to the semi-final, England against South Africa. In that 77th minute scrum, England could have closed the gap deliberately, given away a free kick. South Africa wouldn't have been able to call a scrum. They wouldn't have won a penalty. Andre Pollard couldn't kick the winning points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, difficult.
Although England would have probably already conceded a free kick, and therefore any subsequent free kicks would be penalties.
Well, any subsequent free kicks for the same offence.
You are right.
There are a number of different ways to give away a free kick at a scrum.
Yes, you are right.
Doing the speeding of the scrums, all you end up with is the idiotic scene of the ref. Well, he doesn't know what to do, does he? All he can do is shout, hurry up, get it going. But there's no infringement. Like, he can't just say, right, free kick or penalty. Well, you see it in the Premiership now. He says, come on, hurry up. And like, okay, when we're ready, sir.
But he can stop the clock.
Yes.
If someone is deliberately time wasting, he can stop the clock.
Yeah. Well, but this is it. So the consequence of this law change is that referees now have to decide, is a team infringing or cheating? And I just think it's an unfair thing to put upon a referee for a law that didn't need to be changed if they just did what Phil said and they addressed the actual problem that they're trying to solve, which I don't think they need to solve because we're coming off the back of an amazing World Cup that everyone loved, and the scrum was some of the biggest star of the whole tournament.
Yeah, it really was.
And they should be making a huge song and dance about that, but of course they won't because they don't love rugby.
It's so unique in sport as well, the scrum.
Yeah,
it's the thing.
So unique.
Yeah, far from being a barrier to growth, it's the thing. It's the thing that makes rugby.
Yeah, although I'm going to have to spend God knows how long making sure lots of people want to play in the scrum when I return to coaching in about 6 weeks' time. That's my number one job, making sure people want to scrimmage.
Yes, and you've got lots of people available to do so.
Yep.
Just on the CROC rule, so I've got it here. This is World Rugby's. Rationale and law replacements. So I'll read this because it does feel unnecessary. So rationale, player safety. While low in number, these actions continue to cause long-term injuries in many players. The shape of game meeting showed clear support for removing the specific action in law. So I have no problem with that rationale for the CROC rule. This is law 9.20D. So the replaced law is a player may level the jackler out of the contest at the ruck, so may drive them off their feet, but must not drop their weight onto them or target the lower limbs. So that's the existing law. that to me is the CROC rule is banned, especially if referees start actually penalising that. So to get around this, they've replaced that with a player may remove the jackler from the tackle area by pushing, driving them backwards, including by grabbing the knee or leg, but must not roll, pull, or twist an opponent. Sanction penalty. Then
should be able to pull someone, I think.
Well, not twist.
Should be able to pull them
pushing.
Forward.
Yeah, it does say pushing or driving them. Because previously it was lever the jackler out of the contest at the ruck.
Levering's fine as well, I'd say.
Yeah. So you've changed that, which doesn't really change very much.
No, it doesn't. Then
there's a new 9.20E. A player must not drop their weight onto an opponent or target the lower limbs.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
But that was already in.
That was already in.
Must not drop their weight onto them or target the lower limbs was already in the previous law.
Target the lower limbs? What does that mean?
Like that... Do you remember the torpedo tackle that was quite popular for a brief period in rugby league, where two players, so a ball carrier's held upright by a defender who's also upright, and then someone came in and
that was horrible.
That was one of the most
horrific.
But you're talking about the jackler though. But this you're allowed to do that in open play. Are you not? That tackle you described. There's nothing in the laws that says you can't fly in at someone's knee.
If someone's held up, then it would probably be the catch-all, reckless, dangerous. There was.
You're all right, Tim. You can't do that.
But you can. Like there's the chop tackle.
You can't do it in a ruck or a maul, but in a tackle you can. But then the one that's possibly prompted this again, which I think the law covered it, was Shannon Frizzell in the World Cup final on Bongi and Badambi.
Yeah,
all he did was his weight fell on Badambi's leg,
and then so they've added in. So they've replaced 9.20D. They've added a new 9.20E, which is the one we've just done.
We've been calling for 9.20E for a long time. A long time.
And there is a new clause in 14.8, which is the tackle law. So players must not roll, pull, or twist an opponent who is involved in the tackle to the ground.
Oh.
And so players must not roll, pull, or twist an opponent who is involved in the tackle to the ground.
Tackler or tacklee?
Either. So
hang on. So it could only be Tim on you, and I can't assist either of you.
You can, as long as you don't, according to this, roll, pull. Or twist.
Can I just say, referees are amazing that they get all this shit chucked at them every year, and they suck it up and they do a great job.
Yeah, they do. They really do. Because then there is a further new definition in the law book, which is a crocodile roll, a prohibited action where a player laterally rolls, twists, or pulls a player,
which is covered by the law already described.
This is so unnecessarily.
Do they get paid by the word? Every time the law book gets another page,
are they send this out to like third-party solicitors that charge by the hour?
Yeah. That whole thing. It was. As we have said previously, as we said earlier in this pod, it was quite a succinct. It was, 20 words in one sentence. It is now 3 new or amended clauses and an entirely new definition to that less clearly defines what we already had.
Yeah, and as you've said a number of times before, the law, you could take so many laws out because they're there in black and white but are never enforced on the field. Yeah. So it should be led by what the referees are doing. So, for example, I'd rather the hooker hooked and the ball was fed in. But if you are going to allow scrum halves to throw it straight to the second row like they do in rugby league, then
and rugby union these days,
then
what if they don't hook?
Then
what if they don't hook? You okay with that?
Well, they don't hook. No. The games I watched this weekend,
they must hook.
Hookers aren't hooking. Not really.
They kind of cross their legs over for a second.
It's a token hook.
Would you be happy for them not to hook? As in, not to do a token hook?
I'd prefer, as I just said, I would prefer it if because the whole essence of a scrum is it's a contest. So I'd prefer it if it was.
I'd like them to hook.
If
it is better for them to get the ball back, and if it's better for them to just push forward, they should do that. So we have more options for scrum to do different things. If that makes sense. So they made the hooking mandatory because hooking was not mandatory, which I think is crazy. So if you think back to the days of Richard Hibbard, who was an enormous man, they basically just bound up. Hibbard
walked over the ball.
Yeah, I think Hibbard, maybe Gethin Jenkins and
Adam Jones
just walk forward. And I love that. Well, why can't we do that? I mean, why can we? That seems fine. There's a mandatory sort of dance now.
But I guess the point is that there is a law on the books that is in there in black and white that is never enforced now, and weirdly gets enforced at kid level.
Yeah,
but not at lower at level 7, but not at the international game or Premiership.
No, level 7 referees say, yeah, you know how to put it in. Just don't take the piss.
Yeah,
and that's what we do.
Yeah,
the shoulders below your hips at the jackal or the ruck area.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
You've either got to
Enforce
get rid of it or enforce
it.
And it probably is get rid of it, but then enforce supporting your own body weight properly and accurately, and then it would probably be safer for everyone involved.
I do despair of World Rugby. They always come forward and say that. Well, they always say player safety is the most important thing.
Absolutely the most important thing.
Absolutely the most important thing. But then they come and tell us
mental health.
Well, and growing the game.
But mind you, mental health, same.
And growing the game.
Growing the game for people that hate it.
but I want to know, do you know who these people are that made this decision, how they came about this decision? Is there any transparency on the process?
Well, so I saw a list of the people that were involved in this.
They usually have luminaries.
Okay. It was basically who you'd want there.
Right, okay.
So Nienaber was there, Andy Farrell was there.
Oh, right.
Wayne Barnes was there. There was Conrad Smith was there, Christian Davis. So there's lots of people who you'd trust to kind of make good decisions, which is why it's a bit weird that they seem to be so confused.
Well, I do wonder how it all goes down, because I actually think the CROC rule should go, but it already sounds like it has gone. So,
but it was already gone.
Yeah. So if you ask them, would you like it to go? And they say, yeah, okay, leave us to write the law. And I think that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, I can't imagine Andy Farrell sitting there going, have you done Jack, have you done 20 E? I'll take D, you do E.
Yeah, exactly. So I often think that they get these people in. So, and I've heard someone do this to someone before. Maybe it's done to me. It's like, are you saying that you know more than such and such or such and such? It's like, well, no. Then I think, actually, yes. It's my game too. So yes, I do actually. Just because you're a high-ranking professional does not necessarily mean you get to choose how everybody plays the game. And I think World Rugby tends to get these people in, so they say, "Oh, do you think that you know better then?" And then they just list the names, and the answer is, "Yeah, probably."
Yeah, there does seem to be some disconnect between.
They did it with the high tackle stuff. That's what it was. Are you sure that you know better than all these people? Absolutely, I absolutely do know that, for the record.
Yeah,
or at least you know that your opinion and experience is as valid.
Exactly right.
Here you go. Wayne Barnes, Felipe Contepome, Andy Farrell, Dean Mumm, Ugo Monya.
Oh, brilliant.
Jack Nienaber, Ben O'Keefe, Jamie Roberts, Conrad Smith, Gregor Townsend.
I'd say the less input Ugo Monya has on almost everything would be basically the better.
Which, to me,
that list, I'd go, yeah.
Jack Nienaber and Andy Farrell. I can't imagine those two being easily cowed if there was. No. A great example of this, John Dobson, coach of the Stormers.
Good bloke.
He was on Science of Sport podcast a while ago. I mentioned this at the time. And he was in one such World Rugby meeting where they were talking about getting rid of the red card or reducing it significantly. And the vast majority of coaches said, no, they don't want to get rid of it, because they all thought that they would be more likely to be the beneficiary of the red card. So these guys aren't easily cowed. But then it does raise some questions over how has that crocodile law, which seemed to be fine, it just probably needed a clarification on the officiating without wholesale changes to the laws as written, how it's ended up in this confused mess that I've just read out before, with those guys in the room.
Well, maybe they are writing the laws, and because they're not contract experts, they're not
well,
experts, so maybe that's the answer.
Maybe that is.
Maybe they're exactly the people you don't want in the room.
Your little skit, Tim, of Andy Farrell and Jacques Nienaber. That was literally how it went down.
Yeah, maybe that's exactly what happened.
And that's what they're getting wrong.
Wouldn't you love, JB, just feel to have the summer just to go through the law book point by point and redact the bits that don't need to be there?
I'm not sure I would.
I did offer my services to World Rugby if they want someone. 6 months.
Phil's definitely more suited to it than I am.
I'll go through it clause by clause and I'll give some options. We can either enforce this or get rid of it. There'll be a few things that'll just be straight get rid of. I'm going to aim for every one law that goes in, one law, at least one comes out.
Ooh. Not going to go for the classic government 1 in, 2 out.
2 out, maybe 1 in, 2 out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, we'll get in a much
2
better
in,
space.
3 out.
A bargain, 6 months. 6 months paid work for World Rugby. I'd do it.
Secondment. Do you think Lang's said on secondment?
Maybe at the moment.
Go.
Just final point on the scrum thing, and it is only from a free kick, and it's not necessarily going to completely change the game, but it is clearly an effort. Well, no. Clearly the consequence is the scrum as a weapon is being depowered and it's being made less of a focus. Mm-hmm. And I just think the one concern I have for that is that
everything.
It is not just the thing that new people to the sport recognise, are interested in and love. And not only does it provide us amazing bits of drama, as we saw in the last World Cup, but it is one of the... it's rugby's biggest selling point.
Yep.
Not just the fact that there is a scrum, but the consequence of there being a scrum means that it opens up rugby to anybody.
Yeah, exactly right. It's not offloads, it's not sexy flowing rugby, it's none of that nonsense. It's the scrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have nothing more to add to that.
Nope. Good. Right, let's talk about some actual rugby then.
Yeah, let's. So, some bloody good games this weekend. So, first of all, we are all in agreement that Gloucester are the bottom team of the Premiership. They're the worst team in the Premiership. We don't count Newcastle as a Premiership team anymore.
So Newcastle aren't behaving like a Premiership team,
yeah.
so
we don't treat them like
one.
Did you see
the wheels coming off Gloucester is absolutely horrific?
Did you see just the brief moment on Newcastle? Did you see Diamond's latest statement this week? He had the one about brothels on the bus whatever last week. His statement this week was there's only 2 words difference between culture and vultures or something along those lines. Nurture and vulture, that was it. Nurture. There's only 2 words different between nurture and vulture.
2 words, 2 letters.
2 letters different between nurture and vulture. He's talking about raising talent, like creating talent, and then it just getting stolen by other teams. So he was trying to make a profound point about they're
vultures.
They breed the talent, and everyone else is vultures.
They're vultures because everyone wants to pay them real money.
Yeah, they want to pay them what they're worth. Yeah. Their market rate.
To me, that's terrible.
Yes, cheers, Diamonds.
Well, everywhere he goes, legitimately, they just generate talent. I mean, the Sale Sharks generated a lot of talent. Now he's generating talent up in Newcastle. So it is what it is.
Do you remember when you were criticising Pat Lam, one of your favourite hobbies?
Oh yeah,
for doing a worldwide assessment of all of the fly half talent that's available for 400k, and then bringing in AJ McGinty.
Yes, I do remember that.
Have you seen Diamond's signings for next season?
AJ McGinty?
Not AJ McGinty.
Cam Neild. It was I saw getting Cam Neild. I've scoured for every possible player, and I'm going with the person that I had at Sale and Worcester.
Bloody brilliant, Cam Neild. Tell you what, that's a good signing.
Yeah,
that is a good. That's knowing your rugby. That's knowing your rugby market inside out. Having a guy that you can trust in your phone book at a slightly cheaper rate than it otherwise would be.
Yeah,
and the other one was Kieran Wilkinson.
Really?
Yeah,
that's interesting. So he was currently in Leicester Tigers, not getting any game time. I think they should have given him a little run at fullback.
But they've had Shilcock, who is...
Shilcock's a very good player.
I really rate Shilcock.
Massively.
I kind of wonder if Shilcock had been, I don't know, Australian.
Is he English?
Yeah,
Have you gone over this before?
Yeah, he's English. If he was Welsh or Australian or probably several other nationalities, he would have been pushing for international. He would have had 24 international caps by now.
Unless they love him, they absolutely love him.
He's really talented.
We've got to talk about Gloucester for a second. Yes, they did make some changes from their team from the Challenge Cup semi-final team. Nevertheless, it was a team with very handy players in, and I don't care who you put out, even if you put in 90 points to nil.
You've seen why they got nil. I mean,
they were
90 points scored.
They were
against
80-0 down. Penalty just outside the 22, directly in front of the post. Charlie Atkinson missed the kick.
Well, they went for the posts in order to save the embarrassment.
Yeah.
But ended up doubling down on the embarrassment because they missed.
Oh no!
14 tries.
Look,
it's a disgrace.
I would say Gloucester are one of my... I mean, I love Gloucester. I think it's a great...
I like George Skivington.
He's got to go. I'm sorry, he has to go.
This is the sort of result that could...
He'd have to go.
He could end up with 2 cups.
I would sack him on this alone.
He could end up with 2 cups.
Yeah, I would sack him for this.
Like, you'd ask...
Gloucester is a hell of a town, and it's a hell of a rugby club. I think the only thing they really ask is you work hard, and the Gloucester fans, in my opinion at least, were very happy with Gloucester when they could see, okay, they're not winning every week, but particularly when they're working hard in defence, particularly when they're pushing over mauls for tries. They like that. They like hard, gritty performances. This is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous.
It is... It's a disgrace, this result.
Makes a mockery of the Premiership as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, this is a sackable offence. There's no two ways about it.
But then the question I would ask, I know no one can answer this here, but if you're a Gloucester fan, would you take second bottom to one of the worst teams in Premiership history and the 90-0 thrashing and many of the other thrashings that they've had this season for Premiership Rugby Cup and a shot of winning European Challenge Cup?
Premiership Rugby Cup's neither here nor there. I don't think that doesn't paper over those cracks at all.
The Premiership Rugby Cup is actually important, right? If it's in the context of you doing good things, like, you know, so if you're building and you're currently 5th in the... Like, if Exeter won the Premiership Cup this year, I would say that was important. Because
they're
young team, building, there you go, perfect. If it is the absolute height and pinnacle of your rugby achievement, which it probably might be for Gloucester, then it's absolutely rubbish.
But if they also...
how you use it.
If they win, if they beat the Sharks in 2 weeks' time on Friday night, is that a good season?
That is a tough one, because the Challenge Cup, it gets you into the Champions Cup.
At the expense of Leicester.
At the expense of Leicester. It is a trophy that, you ask any of the Gloucester people, the Gloucester lads that have won it before, and Quinn's players that have won it before, they regard it as a great memory. It is a bit of a Mickey Mouse tournament as well. Like, so many teams in that tournament just binned it off from day one.
Yeah, like the group stage, you're guaranteed to get through it almost. It doesn't really heat up until later on, in the quarters or the semis. Again, it's, what is the wider context of your season, and if it's this dross, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think if they win it, a lot of Gloucester fans, and I don't know because I've not spoken to any, but I think a lot would tolerate it. If they don't win it and they're getting hammerings like this and second bottom in the Premiership, then maybe something does have to change.
Look, just go back on the Premiership table, right? And you look at how tight everything is.
Apart from the bottom two.
Apart from the bottom two. The reason it's tight is because these are well-coached teams. They're well-coached teams. They all have an identity. They all do something well. And Gloucester do nothing well. And that's exactly why I think you have to draw a line underneath the Skivington thing now. I was massively in his corner. And now I just can't really see that after a 90-0. A 90-0. A 90-0 is... Nil. 90? How do these two numbers... I mean, it's like level 7.
Well, let's focus on some of the positives. Coming into round 17, there were a couple of clubs that knew it was win or they're done. Leicester Tigers were pretty much done anyway, but they were basically done anyway, but they knew they had to win.
And they got a good hiding too.
They got well beaten by Sale. And Exeter were the team that knew anything other than a win, and they were done. And they got not just a win, but a seriously impressive win.
Didn't they just? I love Exeter.
21 all at half time. Thanks to that last minute superb try, but also thanks to the Faye Waboso. It's not really an intercept, but the sloppy Marcus Smith pass. If it weren't for those two, Quins could have gone up 14 points in their favour at half time.
That was the duality of Marcus Smith, isn't it? He does some things which other 10s can't
do. His try was
superb. Yeah, so good. And then he the second half, Exeter were awesome. They were so dangerous.
I am absolutely convinced, right? Exeter Chiefs are going to be the team to beat for the next 4 or 5 years. Just Sandy Park alone, absolutely bouncing again. I mean, people were starting to doubt, are they going to fill the stadium? Then the team sort of is all recycled. They lose all of their homegrown stars. I mean, I'm not sure they're going to make the playoffs or not. I mean, I really hope that they do. And I don't know.
I'd put them as favourites to be in that fourth spot.
I hope you're right,
because I think Saracens are more likely to beat Sale than the reverse, and Exeter are more likely to beat Leicester than the reverse.
I agree. I think that is the most likely scenarios. Exeter just sneak in.
Harlequins could sneak it with a try bonus point, for example, and if Exeter weren't to get one, that could be how Quins get there.
But imagine, I mean, if Exeter really take to this team, and I think they are starting to take to them, like Sandy Park's going to be an absolute fortress, and this team can stay together because we know about their salary cap situation. They are going to be the team for the next 4 or 5 years. I love them. I absolutely love them. Feo Barbosa as well.
He's such a talent.
He's just so cool, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you think, like, is this guy the real deal? Can he be the real deal in such a short space of time? His first try, fine, whatever. His second try was ace.
Yeah.
Bounce,
bouncing.
Stop dead, then back to full acceleration.
Yeah, and the way he celebrates too. Yeah. Like, he's smashing the badge. I tell you who must look like an absolute fool now and feel like an absolute fool. All those idiots that decided to do like the educational pieces on TNT Sport or BT Sport as it was back then about the tomahawk chop, and then the people at Wasps that decided to get EDI coordinators in to tell Exeter that it would put off their fans, and then they went bankrupt. Or in fact, anyone who's crossed the path of Exeter Chiefs recently, because they prove everyone wrong continuously. They're an awesome club,
and that's the best I've seen Harvey Skinner play.
Harvey Skinner played really well.
He played really well, and I just love Henry Slade.
Quality sleep is essential. That's why the Sleep Number Smart Bed is designed for your ever-evolving sleep needs. Need a bed that's firmer or softer on either side? Helps you sleep at a comfortable temperature? Sleep Number Smart Beds let you individualize your comfort, so you sleep better together. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number number 1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed for a limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Millions of people have lost weight with personalized plans from Noom. Like Evan, who can't stand salads and still lost 50 pounds.
Salads generally for most people are the easy button, right? For me, that wasn't an option. I never really was a salad guy. That's just not who I am. But Noom worked for me.
Get your personalized plan today at Noom.com. Real Noom user compensated to provide their story. In 4 weeks, the typical Noom user can expect to lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. Individual results may vary.
My
Slade
God.
was so classy.
He's so good.
So classy in this game.
He didn't go to the World Cup to think that he wasn't needed. And he's the response of Henry Slade, seeing all of his mates that he won the double with leave.
Yeah. All for big money.
Not taken to the Rugby World Cup. And to have played the season he's played, it tells you everything about that bloke.
I mean, I hope Sale make top 4. I hope Exeter make top 4, but I hope Exeter win the thing. I really do.
They can't both make it.
They can't, can they?
No, it's possible, but they would need Bath not to get anything, and both and Exeter would have to get the full 5 points.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard. I think it's unlikely.
It is unlikely. It's very unlikely, but not impossible.
So Northampton have guaranteed themselves a home semi-final.
They have, but it's whether they finish in top spot.
Yeah.
Which they do if they get they don't even need to win. They just need 2 points.
Well, that's to guarantee first.
To guarantee
2 points
top
will
spot.
guarantee top spot. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Bath would have to beat Northampton by something like 40 points in order to, and Northampton not get a try bonus. In order for Bath to go into the top 2, in order for Northampton not to be in the top 2.
So Northampton can't. So Northampton are definitely finishing in the top 2,
but they're 5 points ahead of Bath
because wins is
it's wins is the first metric. Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
So Northampton are definitely in the top 2, but it's whether they finish in first and get the easy is most likely to be the easier home game, or second and get the harder home game.
Yeah.
They'll want to finish in first. Which they can do with just 2 points. They could lose, but get 2 losing bonus points, and they are guaranteed top spot.
Yeah, I mean, yes, they had the Champions Cup semi-final, and they're going back-to-back, but they've got a week off next week, so it's fine. They can get 3 games left, maximum. They can go all out.
Yeah.
They're going to go all out.
Yeah.
That game against Bath is going to be really good at the Rec, because, like you say, Bath will be looking over their shoulder as well as looking up the table.
Yeah.
Bath could end the day out of the top 4 or in second.
They could.
Oh, my word, yeah.
And we've got Finn v Finn.
Yes.
Double Finn sanity.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the game I actually managed to watch this week was Saracens. I actually managed to watch most of Saracens in it. Well,
great game,
I say watch. I was present next to a TV which had Saracens on it. So, yeah, I saw it. Saracens are the Jenga tower that just won't fall over. How long can it last? How many more pieces have to be removed before it falls over?
I think Farrell go in.
Yeah.
The Vunipolas go in. That causes issues.
Do you want to talk about the article that you sent to the group, Tim, which highlighted Saracens' culture and how it's a bit passé?
Who's the word? Did I send that?
You did.
I can't remember.
I'm sure you said that.
I probably did, yeah.
I'm sure you said you read an article and you said, "I love this." I'm sure it was you on the EggChasers group. It's actually really quite interesting.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
I didn't agree with it. In fact, I didn't agree with it at all. I felt it was very much like pot shots towards Saracens and how, the drink. Basically, it's all.
No, I wasn't agreeing with the looking down their nose at it. I was actually appreciating. I was actually enjoying. I love that this is their identity. That going out on the piss as a team.
Ah, right. I did wonder where you were coming from.
I love it about them.
Yeah,
I love it about them.
There was this sort of snooty.
Yeah, it was kind of sneering, snooty.
Yeah. Oh, it's not what it used to be. How do you know? Were you on the first ones?
Yeah.
Have you ever been out with the Saracens? There was the example of Alex Good being out of in his kit for 2 days. It's not acceptable. They didn't say that exactly, but it just feels a bit dated. You're completely wrong. You're completely wrong. I think probably what is right is that if Billy Vunipola was playing better rugby, it'd probably be easier to take him getting a fine in Spain.
Yes. Yeah.
I like that that's just fizzled away as well.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
It could have been... the RFU and Saracens could have made a big deal about it, but you got a bit of a slap on the wrist. You got €200 fine from the Mallorca police, and that's it.
Let the boys play.
Exactly.
They were impressive, and they played it like when they beat Bath a couple of weeks back. They were kind of tight and cagey. They were a bit looser on this one, and sort of went, "Yeah, go on then. We'll do a bit. We'll play how you're playing, Bristol. Sun's out.
Go for it."
Yeah, went for it.
And there were the Gonzalez try with about 15 minutes. Basically the try that kind of sealed it for Saracens.
His fitness is just off the charts, isn't it?
He's awesome. But that passage of play was Bristol trying to play, because they knew they had to, from their own 5 metre line, which Saracens looked like they were just going to say, we'll just suck this up, then gave the penalty away, quick tap, Bristol make a 60-yard break, turnover, good night. Cinti and Gonzalez. I mean, the young... We have spoken about Saracens in the past as being a kind of ageing team, and they definitely are, but some of the young talent that they can put together, like a back row of Ben Earl, Tom Willis and Gonzalez, not to mention Andy Christie or Theo McFarland, both coming off the bench. Theo
McFarland and Theo Down on the bench.
Yeah, like they've got some amazing talent.
Yeah.
They have to strengthen the front row. Yeah. And the other big one is they are they're losing they're losing one of the world's best fly halves, who was my man of the match.
Yeah, he was the best player on the pitch.
Elliot Daly got it, but Faz was the best player on the pitch.
Yeah.
But they've brought in Louis Johnson from Newcastle, who very highly rated fly half, but he's done nothing yet, mainly because he's playing for Newcastle. And then Fergus Burke, who is, as far as I can tell... Louis Johnson, yeah. England under-20s
I know his name.
He's signed for Saracens from Newcastle.
Is he from Penrith?
No idea.
I think is he Cumbrian?
Let's have a look.
That's Newcastle's patch.
Born in Carlisle. Played age group for Penrith from the age of 6. Went to Sedbergh.
Yeah,
school.
That's the boy.
But they brought in a 20-year-old and Fergus Burke from the Crusaders, who, as far as I can tell, the Crusaders are having the worst season that they've ever had.
The Double Dongs are not having a good time.
By some distance.
Hold that thought.
Even through the bleak Todd Blackadder years, it never got this bad. And he can't get a game for them, despite them playing...
That's probably why they're so bad.
Despite them having no fly half of any note, and him being a fly half, apparently. So Saracens have signed 2, well, 1, maybe not, 1 potentially good player, but that's Scrum and replacing Faz are the 2 big things, 2 big question marks going forward.
They need to win this now.
Yeah, because likely it won't be for another few years.
No.
That's what they thought at the start of this year, and the start of last year, and the start of the year before. And it seems to win the league every single year, including the league when they weren't in the Premiership. They won the league, right? They just win leagues.
They did win it when they weren't in the Premiership.
Does anyone know the password to our email? I've got on your phone. Don't say it. I want to say it.
So yes, Saracens were very good. Bristol a little bit disappointing. They had a few nice moments, but overall just didn't have anywhere near enough. Now losing AJ was at late first half or early second half. That did cause them issues, obviously. Yeah,
he is very important to what they do.
He's playing one of the best...
best he's ever played, maybe.
Yeah, he really is. He's one of the best 10s in the Premiership.
So, Double Dongs.
Crusaders.
Double Dongs.
Is this not a perfect example of when you change your crest to something cool?
Yeah, but they changed it. That only got changed because of the same... ridiculous people got on at Exeter Chief, said culture is cultural appropriation and it's racist.
Something like that. Some of those things. Didn't they blame the crest for the Christchurch shooting?
Yeah, it was after that.
Yeah,
it was
obviously.
after that. Yeah.
I mean,
so they probably won back-to-back titles.
But no, the Double Dongs is maybe the worst rugby crest in history because it looks like 2 dongs.
Because this is what's going to happen,
2 touching dongs.
This is what will happen, Tim. Is you're going to hand over your beautiful traditional crests to a bunch of art students. Now, and there's an email, and it's just so beautiful. Can you find that email for me, please? Which is the one. So, this topic of classic crests versus, snake oil salesmen who come in to redesign your branding has really touched a nerve. So, I got a text off an ex-Northampton player saying that the ex-players group is outraged by the whole thing. A few Northampton fans have emailed in to say that they think that they were consulted, but only after the decision was made, which is classic rugby consulting.
I do feel like I would like to clarify my thoughts, which is I have nothing. I like the classic traditional crest, as I've always said.
You've always said it.
Want it on a club tie, want it on the blazer. I'm okay with it on the shirt, but in the digital landscape, they don't work very well. So there'd be an online thing and a traditional. I think the two can work in perfect harmony.
Right? Online where I don't have to look at it, right? So you click on the website of the traditional club crest, and there's an option. Do you want us to look at the digital one right in the corner? And you just click that, and you can see the digital one.
But I think a great example is, and I think Phil brought this up when we've had a conversation about this in the past, but like the Man City and a lot of football club badges are traditional but look kind of modern. You have to, they've been modified so they work digitally as well.
It has to be in accordance to your history. Spurs are a great example of that. The way that they simplified their crest to look really, really cool. As long as you do that, you're okay. What was not okay, for instance, was Leicester Tigers getting rid of their crest and just putting a tiger's head. That's not okay.
I agree with that. The Northampton one is already a simplified one, isn't it?
Not much.
It's maybe 30 years old now. Did we say previously? But it is. It's simplified compared to the proper old school.
There's more detail
I'll give you some detail on Northampton because Alex Smith is who emailed us. Contact eggchasers@gmail.com. And before I read this email, JB replied to this saying, "Congratulations, you've literally written my favourite ever email." And the email that got that response from JB was, Alex says, some time ago, a survey was conducted at the club, referring to Northampton, focusing on the identity and brand. It now appears that the purpose of this survey was not to gauge the fans' opinion, but rather an exercise to provide cover for a conclusion already reached.
No.
That said, the survey and subsequent surveys post-announcement have not been overwhelmingly supportive of the proposed and impending change. In regard to the badge, and to give some context, there are some significant historical and Christian features to highlight. The 3 scallop shells are the symbols of the Pilgrims of St James, in reference to the club being founded as Northampton St James by Reverend Samuel Wathen-Wigg.
Love it.
The shield, sable, charged with a castle argent, flanked by 2 winged and haloed lions. These come from the city's coat of arms, which has 2 lions standing on either side of a castle, representing Northampton's castle built about AD 1100.
Perfect.
The halos are an addition in reference to St James and the club's founding by the church. Finally, the rose placed under the castle is due to the rose being a symbol of Northamptonshire since 1665. Like any good badge, these...
They're just beautifully crafted.
Yeah.
When you read it like that, you realise that so much thought has been put into it, and some fucking art students are going to come up and just have like a stick man with a saint or something, and we're all going to go mental for it.
Like any good badge, these features combine to allude to the origins of the club and create a sense of identity that fans and players can rally behind. However, in the age of diversity, equity and inclusion, predatory branding agencies and mass societal infantilization, the logo, its elements, are too easily mislabelled as exclusionary, too complicated for younger fans and old-fashioned. I imagine these modern-day DEI inquisitors and travelling alchemists support their observations with meticulously crafted, dodgy dossiers laced in fool's gold. Asserting a rebrand will miraculously solve all of the club's historical, economic and social issues.
Yes.
They're filled with pseudoscience stats and hollow jargon soundbites like future-proof, visual identity, and claims such as too intricate to work digitally. Yes. Or supporters could not recall the design when asked. They tout the necessity of a visual identity to appeal to the next generation of supporters. I agree. That's bollocks. I don't care about that. All while supposedly respecting the rich history of our club and claiming to be the heartbeat of the local community. It's really sad to see how many historic teams across many sports can get swindled into these snake oil salesmen, into costly rebrands with little return of investment. Saints only have to look across the city to its football team's failed rebrand and across its own sport to see the damage rebrands have done to Gloucester and Canterbury Crusaders. They have gone from having authentic and renowned badges to totally unmemorable designs that appear gimmicky and without a sense of history or grown-up appeal. Anyway, as a colleague would say, it doesn't matter. We'll all be dead in 50 years. Have a good day.
Yeah. Do you know, but when he's reading the component parts of that badge, I'm like, wow. I mean, do you know when you see a really good political cartoon, it speaks to you on like numerous levels? Like that's what a badge should do. You should have all these component parts, and they should all mean something. It shouldn't just be, the tiger's head, or I'm just trying to think of the other one. Like a lion for Gloucester, just the lion. They had a lion on a bloody crest. Have that lion. So that would be my point. And also, it's so English too. Like that kind of badge and that history is so English because not many countries can point to such old institutions.
There's a way you can make it look better than that badge does. I don't think the Northampton badge looks good. They could take the same elements and make it look better than it does. In the way that Man City did, as one example, their badge looks great, but it looks modern. It looks modern and traditional.
Yeah. So can we just get beautiful classic things, Tim, and just have you remodel them?
Give me the Canterbury Crusaders. God, they must regret that. What an embarrassment that badge is.
Could you just digitalise the Mona Lisa for me? And then when you've done that, can you digitalise this E-type Jag? And a Spitfire.
An NFT of an E-type Jag.
Just on did no one at Canterbury Crusaders at any point say, hold on, that looks like two penises touching?
Well, no. They absolutely did, and that's why they picked it. It's not a bug; it's a feature.
What other games did we have? We had Friday night.
Well, Sale
versus Leicester.
Very physical game. Enjoyed it a lot.
I felt like it got a bit less physical towards the end when Leicester just... I don't know.
What's happened to Leicester?
They just ran out of steam. Now, again, losing...
I don't know.
Dan McKellar's under pressure.
Losing their highly paid, very talented fly half partway through the game, that doesn't help.
That doesn't help.
But they just kind of ran out of steam, gave up caring. There was actually a couple of brilliant physical moments between Freddie Stewart and Jean-Luc Dupree. Did you see? There's the skirmish on the sidelines where...
I was out drinking. I didn't watch it.
Dupree came in a bit late cleared out a ruck. Bit more physically than he probably should have done. Freddie Stewart didn't like it. Little bit of a fracas. 3-4 minutes later, Freddie Stewart makes an amazing break down the left-hand wing. Steps, accelerates, goes past 3-4 players. Who is there waiting in the backfield? He ran into an absolute brick wall in the shape of Jean-Luc Dupree, who nailed him.
Yeah. Jean-Luc Dupree, I don't think, well, I've seen them both, is the more athletic of the two Dupree twins. But I think he's the bigger of the two Dupree twins.
When he was sizing up against Stewart is very tall, 6'5", and he's a big boy. Dupree's so much broader and bigger around the shoulders and the arms and the chest in every dimension. There's some nice moments there. Some nice moments with Manu and Ford. Manu, his last home game.
Yeah.
And one of the last games between those two playing together.
Where's Manu going?
Bayonne.
My
beloved Bayonne. My God, they play some good rugby. I don't know how Manu fits into that team, actually.
Any team.
I was watching them at the weekend, and Bayonne are just insane. The rugby they play is so much fun.
They hammered Henry Arundel, Sia Khaleesi, and Stuart Lancaster.
The rest of the chances.
Wrestling 92.
Honestly, they scored a try of the season contender. It was just unreal. The top 14 is in the rugby they play. There was some great rugby in the Premiership. I'm not knocking it, and actually... But
I mean,
some of the rugby in the top 14 this weekend is from another planet. It's crazy. I love the way rugby's going at the minute. And for all the talk about, World Rugby wanting to change the laws to try and get the game they want. No, you get both in French rugby. You get massive men smashing each other, the scrum being a brilliant contest, and just rugby from the gods.
There was my beloved Bordeaux.
Damien Penaud.
Right, I need to have a look at this.
What a
something happened with Penaud. I've not seen it.
There's two things that happen with Penaud.
Three, I reckon.
Or maybe three. There's lots of things. Penaud
had a ridiculous game.
Penaud is good at rugby. Shock horror. There's the try it was BRA who scored it on the left wing from a Penaud breakout tap and go from his own 5 metre line.
Bordeaux win a penalty, fight their own 5 metre line. Penaud catches La Rochelle napping, breaks, pass, BRA gets the ball, try. And it all starts from Penaud's quick thinking. There's another one where Penaud makes a break, does a brilliant offload, gets the ball back again and gives it to, I think, the number 8 to score in the right-hand touchline. But the best bit... Tatafu, yeah. But the best bit of all was when Matthew Jalabert takes a quick tap penalty from inside his own 22, wallops the ball. He's kicked it long because he's seen there's no one at home, knocks it long, ball's dribbling over the try line. Gregory Aldrich's there, and he's a smart player. He's looking around going, okay, I've looked behind me, I can see who's about, no worries. Gregory Aldrich goes to pick the ball up. Damien Penaud has gassed, dived under his hand, like he's dived from a distance and managed to touch the ball down before Gregory Aldrich can pick it up.
When Aldrich looks round, there's no one within 30 yards of him.
No.
And he just takes his time, and Penaud full gas and slides in.
Right,
amazing.
There's no such thing as a lost cause. Let's have a look at this.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So, come on, hurry up. Great podcasting this.
It's all right.
Waiting for Twitter to load. Come on, play. Right, let's just say it's really good. It won't play.
Worth watching.
Have a look at this Bayonne try. Hold on. Just look
There
at
we
that.
go.
Look at that Bayonne try. So
they're
Machino in his own dead ball area. They go from out wide. That's that Aussie Reece Hodge.
Oh, it's Hodge there. I didn't know
Number
Hodge was
8
there.
offload. Bosch
Forward.
Centre step gas.
Yeah,
That's quite
Amazing
good.
try.
That is quite good.
awesome.
I'm so happy I've picked Bayonne.
Same with Bordeaux, although losing to Harlequins was tough to take.
Yeah.
Other games this week, Bath beat
Yeah,
Newcastle.
that's a regulation win, but I don't think Bath fans won't mind that we don't really spend a lot of time on that.
Well, the only thing... So Bath scored 4 tries, got the bonus point in the
Finn
first
Russell's
half.
back.
Finn Russell's back.
Yeah.
Dokken and Singer scored a very good try, running over 4 people.
Foot on the gas, don't get
And then,
injured.
they basically just switched off and we've got bigger things to worry about than this game. End of assessment of Bath's game.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing Bath in the playoffs. I mean, the thing is, if Sale get there, the only team I don't really want to win it is Saracens, because I've seen it so many times before. But on the other hand, the admiration I have for Saracens if they win it again.
I know it's not. I know it's not quite the same. But how many Super Bowl rings did Tom Brady get? 6.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Farrell would be getting his 7th
Farrell's
premiership title.
Farrell's basically better than Tom Brady. That's what they're saying. Although how he's going to get on with chancing 92, I do not know.
He'll whip him into shape.
Yeah. I'd have Exeter winning it, Sale winning it would be great. Northampton winning it would be great. Bath winning it would be great. I don't know who I want to win the title. Exeter would be the best.
So,
but I think they're going to dominate for seasons to come as well.
Think about the people that could win it. I think it's what would it say? What would the story be? And that sort of makes it better. So Northampton's would be they've invested time and effort and resources into a crop of youngsters that are playing rugby that's ahead of the pack.
Style, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And they've stuck with it. Because I doubted it. I thought they were just fickle. I thought they were a bit of a novelty team who could, score the occasional nice try, but there was no real substance to them.
So that would be the story of Northampton, which would be a great. That would be a great story.
And also the Courtney Laws.
Yeah, that would be. I mean,
and Lewis Ludlam.
I'd love it if Northampton
and the
won,
Waller boys who both retire in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a way to go.
That would be some way to go. So that would be the story there. If that's the one, it's the one thing I kind of sort of would rather other teams won it than Bath. I love Bath as a club and the fans and stuff, and they've been starved of any success for a long time. But the message it sends there is spend £1 million on a fly-off, win the Premiership.
Great message to the kids.
I mean, it is a message of just how talented Finn Russell is.
Yeah.
Because it's not like Bath have been short of talented players previously, but you've got someone who is that talented.
But I also love...
But I'd rather have I prefer the story of the youngsters and Courtney Laws.
Yes, yeah.
There again,
I
love like the regal nature of Bath. I mean, at the top of the tree again feels.
Their fans are fantastic.
Right.
So
yeah, the fans love it.
The towns. It's one of the few places in England where rugby's number one.
Yeah.
So I'd love it from
it's
that point
such
of
a
view.
great place to go and watch rugby.
Yeah.
Saracens, well, we've seen it before, but it is quite funny to watch Saracens continually rub everyone's face in the
No, there is,
I mean,
and because they've got so many good English players, some of whom are maybe a little bit past it now, but some of whom, like Marrow and Ben Earl, who are still absolute top quality. So I would enjoy Saracens. There'll be a lot of people kind of saying, "Oh no, all the cheating stuff," which is of course true, but they're still a seriously good club.
Yeah. So I'd quite like that story because it does feel like the last dance for Saracens at this point. And Mark McCall will probably prove that it won't be, but it feels that way. And then who are the other?
Sale Sharks.
Is
there really a story there?
Of course there is.
Look at how woeful Diamond was. Within 3 years, they win the back-to-back finals, and then.
Well, look, Diamond. Look, if you can give Stuart Lancaster credit for getting to a World Cup final, you can certainly give Diamond credit for putting in some phenomenal foundations. Actually, that club has had so much investment in. And if it wasn't for the ownership spending the amount of money and the dedication, we wouldn't be having rugby in the Northwest. I'd say if it wasn't for Steve Diamond and Simon Orange, there would not be top class rugby in the Northwest. We just wouldn't have it now. But then bringing back Sanderson, I've got my reservations, but it is a good move. It is a strong Northwestern club.
And bringing like George Ford back as well.
Yeah, and they play a hard, gritty style, which is cool.
And then an Exeter Chiefs, obviously we've already talked about it. That would be a remarkable story.
That really would be, that's like the
fairy tale story.
That's the first kind of.
You can't win anything with kids.
Well, and it's the first stone in the foundations of the next Exeter dynasty.
Yeah.
For rugby, I tend to think Exeter winning it would be the best option because I don't know, Exeter or Northampton seem to me the best option, and I just think having one of those two clubs, if they finish this season's champions, particularly Exeter, they'll probably be profitable next year because they've got the right size squad, they've got the right size stadium. I just think that would be the best way forward, but I don't know. Northampton or Exeter are clearly the best stories.
Right. So shall we predict the games for next week and then see where we think it's going to come out? So, alphabetically the first game, and maybe the one with the most on the line. Bath at the Rec host Northampton Saints. Bath on 55 points, Northampton Saints on 60 points.
I'm going to go for a narrow Bath victory.
I think Bath as well.
So, narrow Bath victory.
But Northampton to do enough to get first place.
So, Bath get a 4-point win?
4 points to 1 point. I'll say that.
4 points to 1 point. So 1 point doesn't necessarily guarantee Saints top spot. Okay, next fixture. Actually, I'm not even going to give you an option to comment on it because it's irrelevant. Gloucester host Newcastle Falcons.
Wow.
Move on. Next one, Harlequins, who are in 6th place on 50 points, host Bristol, who are in 7th place on 49 points. Both of whom can qualify.
This has got a Super Saturday feel where people are going to be just going for it, knowing they need maximum points. I think Harlequins will win this one. I think both teams will get... Bristol will get 2 points. Harlequins will get 5 points.
And it matters not.
And
no, I agree. I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I think you're right on all of those counts. I think there is going to be a collective score of near 100 points in this game. It's going to be absolutely enormous, and it's going to be totally irrelevant. So that would put Bristol on 51. It put Harlequins up to 55, which would see them leapfrog Sale in the scenario that we've just seen, or just been discussing.
Well, Sale plays Saracens.
Yes. They'll do. The next one is Tigers versus Chiefs, which is. I think it's going to be a 5-point
Tigers
win.
will be motivated at home crowd, last game of the season, and all of that. But I do think Exeter. I think that motivation is going to be way heavier with Exeter, and they will leverage that to bring a win home.
I agree.
I think Exeter will win. I think Exeter will get a 5-point win as well. I think they'll score 4 tries, which would put them on 55, same as Quins, but ahead. And in 4th in the scenario that we've just described.
Unless...
The final game is Saracens hosting Sale. Now, Saracens can lose the home semi-final, which they really will not want to.
No.
Sale can basically guarantee, if they get a 4-point win, they guarantee top 4. So, what do you think?
Saracens at home.
Sale. I do think Sale, yeah. I think Sale... I can't believe they're in 4th place. I did not see them being able to pull this around a few weeks ago.
It's 4 wins on... Is it 4 wins on the bounce now?
So they're in form. And they'll be motivated to do Saracens because Saracens have battered them at their place so many times. And if they're going to win it, they've got to win it. You've got to beat Saracens. You've got to beat everyone.
See, I'm thinking Faz, the Vunipolas, they and the rest, they know... They lose, and it's the last game they ever play at home for Saracens.
Oh God, that's daunting.
So
yeah, I think Saracens are going to win.
Yeah, Saracens are not going to go. They're going to go full out.
They have to.
This will be dynamite.
Yeah. What game are you going to watch? If you had to pick one, I'm going to be multi-screening where I can.
That one and Exeter.
Yeah,
would be the game I'd watch.
They're the 2 that I'll be watching.
Bath Saints as well, though.
Bath Saints, yeah.
But it only sort of dictates who's going to kind of play where, home semi-final or not. They're both, I think, going to get into the semis.
This would be a perfect opportunity for TNT Sport to do what the French League do on a Saturday evening and do a red zone. Do the whole thing as a red zone.
Yeah, I don't think red zone works particularly well, even with NFL, because you should definitely have the option to have it. But the reason it doesn't, it's hard to get into the ebb and flow of a game.
Well, yeah, so I'm not saying you don't, I'm just saying you...
on the TNT 2 or whatever it is.
Just have it as well.
Yeah.
Just try it. This is one of those occasions where just try it. Give it a go. Try it. Because France, Canal Plus managed to make it work really well.
Oh, do they?
Well, we were there. Well, we were quite drunk by that point.
They were, weren't they?
Because they have the one game that kicks off at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then at 5 o'clock, they have 4 or 5 games kicking off, and they do it like a red zone. They stay where the interest is, and if one team's 20 points up, they'll go out. We'll keep you up to date with the scores on that, and we'll watch this game, which is going down to the wire. And they just flip, and that's probably what they'll do on Saturday. Actually, I imagine.
Yeah,
it depends if they're running multiple channels.
I think they're probably running a couple of channels and red button, or on the app, or whatever.
Yeah. They're probably doing everything on the app.
But I would do it more like I think.
Bring it in when...
If one game is done...
Yeah.
Just flip, just completely change. But I don't think that's what they will do.
So, if Saracens get a 4-point win in the scenario that we just described and Sale get 1, which I think is the most likely, then Northampton hold top spot. Saracens finish 2nd, and they would play Bath, who would finish 3rd, and then Exeter just sneak into the top 4 to play Saints. And if that were to happen, Northampton hosting Exeter, favourites?
Saints at home.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think Exeter do them.
Saints, the way that Saints showed up in the second half against Leinster, I don't think they favour anyone, really.
No.
And I think the Exeter probably can't quite live with that. So I'd have Saints going through to the final against probably Saracens, who I think would beat Bath at home.
Yeah.
And then Saracens have beaten Northampton many, many, many times over the years. Many times.
Yeah, I don't know. You're probably right. The Saints would do that. And then Saracens have got who?
Bath.
Probably Saracens, and Saracens win the whole thing, and then as you were,
and then it is
the whole thing again next year, and they win again,
and then just keep on winning forever
and ever. There's nothing we can do about it.
Just briefly, we should just touch on the top 14, which is getting quite interesting as well. Top 14, the URC, which is getting quite interesting.
I have no idea what's happening.
So there's 2 rounds left, and there's 8 playoff places that they're playing for. Phil's beloved Ulster got a good win.
Well, the Bulls, that's all I care about.
Bulls are
fourth. Okay.
They hammered Glasgow, who were top.
Well, it didn't they were hammering them, and then they let Glasgow get 2 bonus points at the very end.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Kirtley, Arentzer, Kane and Moody, Villiers LaRue. It's just that back threes do not get better than that.
Handy. Oh yeah, Villiers LaRue and Owen Farrell both got 22-22s this week.
Yeah.
The Faz one was incredible. The Villiers LaRue one was also amazing.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, the Bulls, the Stormers are the 2,000 South African teams in the top 8 with the Lions that could join them, and there's all 4 Irish provinces are in with a shout. Probably only 3 of them will get there. Connacht might miss out, and
JB's beloved Benetton.
Beloved Benetton. That's the game to watch out for in the final round. Benetton against Edinburgh. They're currently 7th and 8th.
Right. I know I'm a rugby podcaster, and this is poor to ask. How does the URC work? Is it back into conferences, or is it just a table again?
Top 8.
Just a table.
Overall table. There are conferences, but that's for qualification. That's you win your own shield, and that gets you qualification for. I know, is Champions Cup on the overall table, or is there? No, there has to be one from each. The shield winner guarantees their spot in the Champions Cup.
I don't know if there is any more on that. That's been in and out on the Champions Cup.
I don't know where they're at currently.
I think, because there's 16 teams, but you only play 18 games.
Yeah.
So you have more games against your derbies.
Home and away in your derbies.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is it's top 8 qualify for the playoffs, and it's 1v8, 2v7, and so on.
Got it. Yeah.
And the seedings carry through to the semi-finals as well.
So we had an email that I need to be more positive about Welsh teams. So Dragons, Scarlets and Cardiff all look awful. And Ospreys are only a bit better than Sharks. But the Sharks team I saw was awesome. So how has that happened?
Sharks have been a weird team.
Strange team this year.
On paper, they've got a pretty much fully international pack. And not an international pack like, I don't know, Benetton historically have put out an international. This is a double World Cup winning international pack.
And then you back that, and behind the scrum, what have we got back there? Am, Mapimpi and Fassi in the backfield.
Yes. So why aren't they good?
Yeah.
They'll have Andre Esterhazy next season as well.
Oh my word.
Yeah. Right. Hangover from the World Cup, recording Chasing the Sun 2 too much of the time.
Yeah, must be.
But the Welsh teams, I don't know. This I'm looking at the table, the URC table, and thinking, surely this is. Look at the table. Wales and 4 regions does not work.
I don't think it'll be the first one to say that, Tim. But I don't think they'll do anything about it.
No, they won't.
No. So brilliant.
No.
Yeah. Right. So that's everything.
I think it is.
All covered off. Well done, everyone.
It's time for you to go to bed. Nice and short and sharp.
Yeah, so we'll get some Patreon stuff at some point, because you can tell us all about your trip to Ibiza. And
there's not that much to tell, to be honest.
And you can tell us an update on the boat.
The update on the boat. There is some interesting Twitter stuff going around at the moment about a certain rugby pundit who's embarrassed himself at Bristol. So I might have. I've not finished asking around about that, but yeah, there's some stuff on Twitter which is interesting.
From on Twitter, from official, any sort of just from individuals or
Bristol fans? Yeah, Bristol fans who've witnessed an incident. So, but not enough on that to talk about it just yet.
Interesting,
isn't it? Isn't it? So yes, we should do a Patreon soon.
Just trying to remember who was presenting at the Bristol this week. I think I do remember.
Yeah,
I've seen. I'm just thinking, okay.
So there's that. Okay, well, let's wrap this up.
All right. Suddenly, you were all full of beans when you started the podcast. JP is now absolutely hanging. The weekend has caught up with him. And when are you training tomorrow?
6 a.m.
Oh, you are? You absolute psychopath.
I never stop.
Can I just say one thing before we go, actually? This is how good rugby is. And if you have kids and I know if you're listening to this and you have kids, you will probably be more than happy to encourage them to play rugby. But I had the thing this evening where it was absolutely hammering it down with rain, like hail, absolutely walloping down. Got a knock on the door. I was like, well, that's a bit weird. About 6 o'clock on a Sunday evening. Who's that? Open the door, and it's one of the lads from the Broughton Park under-16s. Sam, he was the man of the match in the final. Anyway, he was there, and he had his T-shirt in his hand, so top off, pair of shorts, running boots, absolutely soaked to the bone. And he went, "Is Louis in?" I went, "Yeah." "Louis, Sam's here." Louis comes downstairs. "You all right, Sam? What are you doing?" "I'm revising." He got GCSEs. Anyway, he went, "Do you want to come out for a run?" and Louis went, "Yeah, all right." And he went back upstairs, got changed, and they both went out for a run, tops off.
Good effort.
In the rain.
Good lad.
It looked slightly homoerotic running up the road, but also just like, that's awesome. I loved it.
Well, this is what CrossFit doesn't give you. Like, if it rains, all CrossFit's like, "No, we're not going out." I was like, it's rain, boys. Get out there. Get out there now. Yeah.
Right. Contact eggchasers@gmail.com. We'll get a Patreon pod in, and you can get more content, patreon.com/eggchasers, and let the boys end. Oh, I just remembered, that just reminded me, we did get a message from Matt Cotton, actually. I'm just going to check.
Oh, okay. Then we can end.
Then we can end, because he let the boys end was him. Where is it? Oh, I apologise, Matt. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. The subject was "Love peak T.O. blah, not my wife." He said, "Ultimate Rugby once again showing its accuracy."
Oh, here we go.
And it says, Saracens Alex Good, Bristol Bears Bernard Yancey van Rensburg, and Gloucester Stephen Varney rank first and second joint respectively for direct try assists in this season's URC. Ultimate Rugby is going to Ultimate Rugby. Let the boys end.
Mom deserves the best, and there's no better place to shop for Mother's Day than Whole Foods Market. They're your destination for unbeatable savings, from premium gifts to show-stopping flowers and irresistible desserts. Start by saving 33% with Prime on all body care and candles. Then get a 15-stem bunch of tulips for just $9.99 each with Prime. Round out Mom's menu with festive rosé, irresistible berry chantilly cake, and more special treats. Come celebrate Mother's Day at Whole Foods Market.
Hey, it's Paige DeSorbo from Giggly Squad. High quality fashion without the price tag. Say hello to Quince. I'm snagging high-end essentials like cozy cashmere sweaters, sleek leather jackets, fine jewelry, and so much more. With Quince being 50 to 80% less than similar brands. And they partner with factories that prioritize safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing. I love that. Luxury quality within reach. Go to quince.com/style to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. Quince.com/style.
We all have that friend who wakes up early to go get everyone McDonald's breakfast, while the rest of us sleep in. This is your sign to thank them. And if you're that friend, this is us saying thank you.
Just a friendly reminder that right now, get any size iced coffee before 11 a.m. for just 99 cents. And a satisfying sausage McMuffin with egg is just $2.79. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.